as pluses and minuses and all that kind of stuff. What I am curious is, I'm curious about what themes came up, or what did you notice as you were sharing your stories about those pluses and minuses? Yes, sir.
How TV and media can depict like pretty much every race as in a negative way.
Okay.
Just to get a laugh or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how TV and movies use media to depict every race just to get a laugh.
Yeah.
Okay. In a negative way. Yes. Okay. So they do a lot of stereotypical things in TV and movies. Okay. Other things. What did you notice? What came out of your conversation? Okay, so your pluses and minuses may be dependent on one person's perspective or their emotions that they tried to share with you. Okay? Other folks. What were some of the themes?
There was a lot of groups that I didn't really know or learn a lot about, so a lot of them were O's.
Okay.
Most of the groups actually.
Okay, so you had a lot of groups that were just zeros. You just didn't know about them, right? Okay. Other folks, other themes.
I think I was exposed to a lot because I came from a real heavy military family, so they travel a lot. So like I mean, everybody was at my house. I was exposed to a lot more, I think. So I was fortunate and blessed.
Okay.
I feel like in that area. So, and then I didn't realize that until I got outside of the real world. It's normal to me, and why you have no problem.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so you had a diversity because of
My upbringing.
your upbringing. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Other folks.
Talked about how our family is pretty deep, so you might have gotten a positive feeling from your parents, but you go to your grandparents, it's a little bit different.
Okay. So your parents may have been pretty good, but your grandparents or even their grandparents may not have been so good. All right. Cool, cool, cool. I have a question. Are there any white people in here? Please raise your hand if you identify yourself as being white. No, you heard the question right. I mean, if you self-identify as being white, that was the question. All right. Cool, cool, cool. What? Those of you who define yourselves as, you self-proclaim yourself to be white, what kinds of things did you learn about being white? Look, she gave me that look. She was like, what are you talking about? I don't know. Whatever. What did you learn about what it means to be white?
Through education, it was,
She is red. Okay. I know you're hot, girl. I know that. But through education?
through education, we were expressed as
Okay, the education is a privilege. What else were you taught about being white?
European descent.
European descent?
Yes, we didn't learn very much.
You didn't learn very much? Yes,
I
sir?
was taught if you had European descent, you weren't technically white.
If you had what?
If you had European descent, you weren't really white.
Okay, then if you had European descent, you weren't really white?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just what I've been told to put in the bubble.
Yeah.
Say that again?
That's just what I've been told to put
Put
in
in
the
the
bubble.
bubble.
That's what you've been told to put in the bubble.
Like fill in other, put Italian American.
Are you African American? Are you Native American? Are you Asian American? Or Asian descent? Are you white, Caucasian?
Okay. Yeah. Why would I even ask that question about whiteness? And how do you feel about the fact that you don't think that you've been taught much? Because that's what you said.
No, it's just because I mean, I think, I don't know, people are confused by the question or looking for a more specific question to answer, but I don't know, I don't know.
How many people were confused by the question? Raise your hand. Be
I'm not
honest.
sure how to answer it.
Okay. Because I only speak English.
Yeah.
So I only know that one way to ask the question. What was confusing about the question?
I just don't, they don't know how to learn this about it.
you didn't learn about it, but you just were.
Something to talk about.
It's not something that you talk
We're
about.
a product of our experiences, and none of us have a white experience or a black experience or a gray experience. You know.
None of us do?
I mean.
I have a black experience. I'm going to be honest. Do you have a black experience? Oh, okay, cool, because I got a black experience.
If your brother was white, then he would have a black experience, and you'd have a white experience, like if he was raised in a family that was black.
Yep. So what I don't want to go down is this hypothetical highway of all of these things. However, what I want you to think about, and I want you to ingest, is when I ask the question, some of you had problems coming up with answers. And why is that? Because you don't have to think about what whiteness is. It is your experience, right? It's not something that you have to talk about because it's just a part of who you are. One of the toughest things to even teach fish is to see water. How would you do that, right? Because it's all a part. Just like we can't see air, we can't see oxygen that we're intaking because we're immersed in it. And the molecules are pretty small and blah, 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 but you can see the metaphor, right? The reason I'm having this type of conversation is because it's important. Now, I want you to hear me, and I do not want you to take this the wrong way, all right? Because sometimes people think I'm a little crazy, and I am a little bit. But it is important to me that as people who have self-proclaimed themselves to be white, that you are proud about being white. Okay, I know that sounds weird, right? But I'm not talking about having the white sheets and the picket signs and all that kind of stuff about being proud to be white. But what I'm saying is that when people ask you the question, what do you like about being white, that you can actually have some answers. Because I know in my history classes and in the diversity trainings that I've been to, white people get their butts kicked every time the issue of diversity comes up. Now, we have women in the class, is that correct? Yes, okay, good. So women, how often do you and your girlfriends talk about sexism at any conversation that you have? Is it often, is it some, or is it none at all? Is some? Seldom? Okay. Zero? You guys don't talk about sexism at all? Not really? Okay, cool. All right, but I did hear a core of some. Maybe not a lot, but some. Have you had one conversation about it with girlfriends? Or with women friends? I mean, it'd be older friends, younger, whatever. Okay, so you've at least had one conversation. All right, cool. Guys, how many times have we had conversations about sexism with other guys? Never. Never. Now, is sexism a problem? Is it something that should concern us? Maybe not a problem. Problem is probably not the right word. Is it something that should concern us as a society? Equal rights for men and women, blah, 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 blah. Look at it. He's like, I don't know about that. You don't have a club, do you, man? No. Is that something that should concern us if we have daughters, sisters, nieces, nephews? Yeah. Is it problematic that half of the problem isn't having the conversation at all? I think that's problematic, all right? Because one of the things that typically happens, particularly when we talk about diversity stuff, is that white people get alienated and they get amnesia when they get alienated. They get amnesia. Because I've heard people talk about, let's talk about this immigration debate. Immigration, no. Well, yeah, let's talk about it. I talked earlier about the Columbus defense. Do you know what that is? Columbus defense is discovering something that already belongs to somebody else. Wait for it, right? And so white people typically end up with amnesia, and they forget that they came from someplace else too, right? And so when you've forgotten that, and other people try to stand up and say, well, I'm proud to be black, and then white people say, well, you got BET. We don't have white TV. Have anybody heard somebody say that? But it's called NBC, CNN, ABC, CNN, right? But white people get nervous or upset when other people try to assert their ethnic stuff because they've forgotten about theirs. And now this is the thing to remember, specifically when we're working with our kids. And as you guys start going to college, you'll have more conversations that are more sophisticated than the simple way that I'm talking about it today. But I want you to think about, if you're able to own the fact that you came from Germany or from Ireland or from Sweden or from Germany. Did I say Germany already?
Yeah.
I love Germany. That's why I said it twice. Then you're much more likely to extend someone else their opportunity to remember who they are. So it's not okay just to be white. I want you to figure out who you are and where you came from and be proud about that. And don't be afraid to say it or to express that. All right? So I just took myself down a path I wasn't intending, but we're going to keep going. I'm going to show this video clip. It's about 8 minutes, so I got a good time. It's about 8 minutes long. It's from ABC's television program, What Would You Do? Many of you have seen this before. Is that correct? Yeah? Okay. So we'll watch this, and then we'll have some more conversations.
Hello, and welcome to the opening show of our primetime series, What Would You Do? If you see something and you think it's wrong, do you step in or do you step away? What people say and what they do aren't always the same. That's why our hidden cameras are so revealing. In our first scenario, we weren't sure what to expect when our opinionated man behind the counter meets the Muslim woman in a headscarf.
Deep in the heart of Texas, at this little roadside bakery, bigotry is being served with a coffee and bagels.
No, man. We don't serve Muslims here.